Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're cracking open A Mind for Numbers by Barbara Oakley. And let me tell you, this is a must read for anyone who's ever just stared at a math problem and thought, nope, my brain is just not wired for this.
All right, first things first, we're going to go after a huge myth that holds so many of us back. This idea that some people are just born bad at math. We're about to see exactly why you need to stop believing that, like right now.
And get this quote comes straight from the author, Barbara Oakley herself. She started out absolutely convinced she wasn't smart enough, completely failing her math and science classes. I mean, that's a feeling a lot of us can probably relate to, right?
No, really, think about it for a second. Have you ever done that? Put yourself in that not a math person box? Maybe you told yourself, oh, I'm a language person, or I'm the creative type, as if that somehow means you're not allowed to be good at technical stuff. Well, that exact feeling is what this whole book is designed to completely dismantle.
And here is the proof that it's possible. Oakley's own story is just incredible. She went from hating math, so much so that she became a Russian linguist in the army, to totally retooling her brain and earning a doctorate in systems engineering. Her journey just goes to show you it's not about the brain you have, it's all about how you use it. So, how in the world did she pull that off? Well, she unlocked a secret weapon that, it turns out, we all have. It's our brain's two completely different ways of thinking. And honestly, understanding this is probably the single most important step to learning how to learn anything.
Okay, so here's the big reveal from the book. Our brain basically has two modes. You've got the focus mode, that intense heads down concentration you use for problems you already kind of know how to solve. And then there's the diffuse mode. This is that relaxed, daydreamy state where your brain just makes these wild connections in the background. The problem is, most of us try to learn only using that focus mode, and that's exactly why we get stuck.
Oakley gives us this perfect metaphor to understand it. Think of the focused mode as a flashlight with a really tight, powerful beam. It's amazing for looking at something up close, seeing all the tiny details, and working through the steps of a familiar problem. But when you're shining that narrow beam, you're missing everything else in the room. You have no idea what the bigger picture looks like.
Now, imagine clicking that same flashlight to its widest floodlight setting. That's your diffuse mode. All the little details get kind of blurry, but suddenly you can see the whole landscape. You see how different ideas connect to each other. This is the mode you slip into when you go for a walk or hop in the shower, or even when you're just drifting off to sleep. And this is where those amazing aha moments come from. The real trick is learning how to switch back and forth between the two. So, while you're flipping between these two modes, what's actually happening in your brain? What are you building? Well, the answer is chunks. And this is the secret to turning clunky information into pure instinct. Okay, so what is a chunk? It's basically a bunch of information that your brain has bundled together so tightly that it feels like one single idea. Think about getting dressed in the morning. You don't think, okay, now I have to put on my left sock, now my right sock. No, you just have one single thought, get dressed. And that one little thought triggers this whole complex sequence of actions, effortlessly. That's a chunk. And our goal is to turn complicated ideas into simple chunks like that.
So, how do you actually build one? Well, first, you need total, undivided, focused attention on the material, no distractions. Second, you got to get the basic idea, understand what's going on. But, and this is so important, just understanding it is not enough. You have to practice. You have to use that new idea in different situations and different contexts to really burn that neural pattern into your brain for good. Practice is what makes it permanent.
Of course, knowing all the best learning techniques in the world doesn't mean a thing if you can't actually get yourself to sit down and do the work. Which brings us to our number one enemy, the procrastination zombie. So here's the wild science behind it. When we just think about doing something we don't like a really tough homework assignment, our brain can actually trigger the same areas that register physical pain. Seriously. So what does our brain do? It develops this clever little habit of quickly shifting our focus to something more fun, like scrolling through our phone. And poof, the pain goes away, just like that. That instant relief is what makes procrastination such a powerful, ridiculously addictive habit. See, procrastination isn't a character flaw. It's just a habit, a zombie-like routine that runs on autopilot. Every habit has four parts. There's the cue, like seeing your textbook on the desk. Then comes the routine, which is to immediately look for a distraction. Next is the reward, that little hit of relief you get.
And finally, there's the belief that you're just a procrastinator and can't change. But here's the good news, you don't have to fight all 4 parts at once. This is the key insight. You only have to focus on one thing, changing your routine. The only place you need to use your willpower is in that tiny moment right after the cue hits. The trick is to have a simple pre-planned routine ready to go. For example, the Pomodoro technique. Just tell yourself, I'm only going to work for 25 minutes. It's such a small step that it's easy to start. And once you start, you've already begun to overwrite that old zombie habit. And here's a really simple but powerful strategy for you. Eat your frogs first. What does that mean? It means you figure out what's the one task you are dreading the most. That's your frog. And you do that thing first, before anything else in the morning. Once you've got that out of the way, the rest of the day feels easy and you've built this amazing momentum. Okay, so let's pull all these ideas together. The main point is this: by understanding these simple things about how your brain works, you can actually actively change it. You can unlock your own potential in pretty much any subject you want. So let's do a quick-fire recap of the big rules for good studying. Test yourself all the time. Don't just reread your notes. Build those chunks through practice. Space out your learning instead of cramming it all in at once. And please remember to switch between that focused work and taking diffuse mode breaks. Oh, and yeah, exercising and eating those frogs first are total game changers too.
But if there's only one thing you take away from this, please let it be this. Your ability to learn is not fixed. It's not something you're born with. It is a skill. And just like any other skill, you can get better at it with the right techniques and a little bit of practice. At the end of the day, persistence will beat raw intelligence every single time.
So, the book really leaves us with this powerful question. You now have the tools. You know how to learn how to learn. That whole myth of being bad at something is officially busted. So, what are you going to learn next? What's that challenge you're finally going to take on? Thanks for tuning in.